Hey there, I'm Amber Mesker, and today we are going to help you find the highest quality in legal services so that you can get the best expert advice that you need and you deserve. And joining me today is award-winning attorney Kathy from Recordon and Recordon, who's been practicing family law for over 3 decades. And I want to say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Okay, so this is just a huge hot topic, of course, because everybody knows or is maybe going through a divorce.
Right, over 50% of married people get divorced these days.
I know, your odds are not good, people.
Not good.
All right, so let's talk about you've seen it all. What is the most important thing that someone needs to know if they're contemplating getting a divorce?
I think if they have the ability and they're contemplating it, it's to be prepared. Make sure you get copies of bank statements. Make sure that you have copies of credit card obligations, deeds to the house if you own a house. Make sure you get copies of retirement funds.
Right.
Many times in a marriage, one party takes control of all the finances.
Right.
And if you're the party who has control of the finances, you don't need to worry about that. But if you're not, you need to have that information.
Get all that information.
All that information.
Ready.
Copy it, give it to a friend to keep for you. That's the
Right.
most important thing. Just be prepared.
Financially. So I hear this all the time, and I don't know the difference. Legal separation and divorce, are they the same thing? Are they not?
They are pretty much the same thing. You go through a legal separation, which is the exact same process as a divorce, the same paperwork, the same time, well, not the same time frame, I'm sorry, the same paperwork, and you divide assets, debts, custody, visitation, support issues, and at the end, you're still married.
Okay.
People will do a legal separation. Sometimes they file a legal separation to soften the blow of a divorce.
Right.
Sometimes it's for health insurance. You can maintain the health insurance for the spouse if you're just legally separated.
Okay.
Sometimes it's for religious purposes.
So a few just loopholes that are a little bit different.
Yeah, it's just the end result is
Right.
different. You're still married.
Right. Oh, and they want to get out.
Not a good way to go.
Now, do you have to get a lawyer when you get divorced? I mean, could you go through a mediator? Are there other avenues? Or why is it so important to have a lawyer when you do this?
Well, you don't have to have a lawyer. If you have a very short-term marriage, you don't have assets, you don't have children, you can probably get through the system without a lawyer. If you have anything, children, assets, debts, support issues, I think you need a lawyer.
Right.
You can mediate, and the mediator will talk to both parties and try to get you to come to an agreement.
Right.
A good mediator will require you each to have a lawyer so that you can make sure you understand all the terms. Many times people will go through the divorce process without a lawyer. They mess something up, and at the end it's costing them twice
More
as
money.
much to try
Right.
to get it fixed.
And no one wants to do that.
No, and many times you can't fix the mistake.
Right.
It's done deal and you're stuck with it.
Oh,
so yeah, I think it's important if you have any issues at all to have a lawyer.
And I just wonder, because this goes into the next question, which is, what about child support? I feel like that's got to be a huge thing when kids are involved.
Child support and spousal support both are the big hot topics in divorces. Child support is mandated by the state of California. It's a guideline that applies to everyone for child support. And the factors that are put into that formula is the income of both parties,
Okay.
the percentage of time the parties spend with the children. There are some deductions that the courts allow, which are health insurance premiums, mandatory retirement, if you're paying child support or spousal support from another relationship.
Right.
That's it. Those are the factors. You plug that in and out comes the amount, and that's what you pay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's pretty cold.
No kidding. I didn't realize it was just like that fast.
That's right.
How long does a divorce take? And the reason I ask this is because I feel like I have some friends who are either prolonging it, and they've been, they're trying to get divorced for years, and other people seem to get it done right away. I'm like, what's the deal here?
The minimum amount of time it takes is 6 months from the time that the respondent is served with the papers.
Okay.
It can never be any shorter than that.
Why is that? Do they give people enough time to maybe back out and be like, you know what, I do love him? Or is it just simply that's the process? It takes that long?
I have no idea.
Oh.
In the old days, it was you got an interlocutory judgment, and then you could go to counseling and you could do all these things.
Right.
But now it's just 6 months, you can be divorced. It takes a lot longer in most circumstances because our courts are so backed up that if you need court intervention, you're looking at 1, 2, 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Oh,
and just to get into court for temporary orders, for example, if I filed today to get temporary support orders, I probably would not be able to get into court until September, October, November.
Right. So on average, so now we know the time, but on average, I think we all want to know, what is the cost? What is it going to cost me to get out of this?
The costs vary, obviously, depending on what the issues are. There are firms that do a flat fee. I would never recommend that because you're not going to have somebody really that's going to fight for you if they're only
Right.
going to make a certain
Sure.
amount of money.
Sure.
So it depends on what you do. The person controls a lot of how much the attorney's fees are going to be. If you're angry and you're bitter and you want to fight, you're going to be paying a lot of money in attorney's fees. California requires both parties to do what's called a declaration of disclosure, where you have to disclose to each other all the assets, all the
Right.
debts. That's supposed to cut back on fees. Fees can be run up if you're not believing what the other party's saying and you have to subpoena bank records or employment records or have vocational evaluations or custody evaluations. They can run from a very simple, just finished divorce for $2,500, $3,500 to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh my gosh.
And a
Just
lot of
work
it
it
too,
out, people.
yeah, that's exactly true. And that's what I try to tell them. I'm not the type of lawyer that wants to increase the fees
Right.
by fighting, because
Sure.
a lot of attorneys do. That's how
Sure.
they make their money.
Right.
So I try to say, look, would you rather me have your money, or would you rather keep some of your money for
Right.
yourself?
Absolutely.
I'd rather have it all.
I would rather keep it as well.
Me too.
And knowing me, I'll probably be going through at least 3 divorces in my lifetime. So I'm going to give you a call because I feel like you would do me fair. I like that.
I'll give you a discount.
I love it. Yes, 20%. All right, for more information, you can always contact Kathy at recordonlaw.com.